You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Welcome back to another edition of The Common Constitutionalist, and this is The Common Constitutionalist, happily coming after you. Coming after you? What'd you do wrong? I'm coming after you. Happily coming at you from sunny and warm New England. Hooray, I'm actually still sweating. I was just outside in the yard sparring with my son. He wants to learn how to fight, well, defend himself, whatever, so I'm teaching him how to spar. And that's a lot of fun, but I'm still sweating from the oldies, so to speak. Well, maybe it's because I'm the oldie, I don't know. At any rate. So, I got a question here. Why do American police departments look like the military? Why do the cops look like Marines? They're all decked out in camouflage. They're sporting M4s and M16s. I haven't seen any M249s, but hey, give them time. Maybe the SWAT guys have the saws. I don't know. But again, why do inner city police departments dress in camo gear? Where are they? Doesn't it defeat the purpose of the camouflage? If they're dressed up in desert or jungle camo or something, and they're in the middle of Detroit, what the heck is that all about? It's camo gear, being all geared up military style, sporting an assault rifle, ooh, scary, sporting an M4, an M16 or something like that, or a grenade launcher, with full body armor on, military grade full body armor on. Kevlar helmet, the whole deal. I'm surprised they don't have snipers. The SWAT snipers have ghillie suits sitting on top of a building in a ghillie suit. I don't put it past them at this point. It seems to it's become almost a fashion statement, a badass fashion statement. Well, if you want to look badass, join the military, and they'll issue you the gear to look badass. You don't be a cop. That's not what cops do. And that's the problem I foresee is our police forces are becoming military forces, not police. If you look the part, you dress the part, you'll be the part. You know, the old saying of dress for success, dress the part, or he fits the suit, so to speak. That's not what cops are supposed to do. Cops are supposed to defend and protect. The military, they're trained to kill people and break things. That's what they're supposed to do. Of course, now again they're hospital builders and Meals on Wheels, but they've been trained to kill people and break things. At least back when I was in the Navy, that's what we were trained to do. At least some of us were. So I started looking into this, and it turns out in 1990, Congress, the 101st Congress, remember them? No, I don't either. The 101st Congress enacted the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, and basically it gives the Secretary of Defense carte blanche authorization to issue used military surplus free of charge to states and other federal departments, and that's another one of these reasons why you get the IRS with MRAPs and stuff, and the post office has a SWAT team. Honestly, really, but that's what the local cops are starting to look the same way. They're starting to dress the part, and unfortunately, I saw a saying a while ago, and it fits to a T about the militarization of our police. And as the guy, I can't even remember who it was, said, when your only tool is a hammer, after all, every problem looks like a nail. And that's the problem. I frankly love the military, love the cops, respect the cops. I'm not cut out to be a policeman. I don't have the patience for it. But I respect the guys that lay their lives down every day. And more of them are being killed on duty. And so I understand the want to camo up, to militarize, to get these MRAPs and all. And oh, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with what MRAP means, it's another one of those ridiculous military acronyms. But you kind of have to have acronyms when you have all these silly names in the military. The MRAP is a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. It's an armored-up vehicle. But local police forces are getting these MRAPs, and they think the taxpayers are up in arms because they think they're budgeting for these things and buying them, and they're not. The Department of Defense is giving these things away, and they don't need maintain a record of who they gave them to. That's part of the program, this 1033 program for the Department of Defense. They give away their military surplus, and they're not accountable at all to who they give it to. So, for example, there's a police force. It's Bloomington, Georgia, I believe. The population is like 2,700 people, 2,700 people. A lot of high schools have more people than that in them. And they acquired, free of charge, 4 grenade launchers through the 1033 program. What in heaven's name does a population in Georgia, rural Georgia, need with population 2,700, need with 4 grenade launchers? What the heck are they going to do with grenade launchers? But they were given or they were given them. Whew, okay then. And so they took them. I don't know whether they requested them or why they would request them. Nothing was ever said about that other than they got 4 grenade launchers. It's ridiculous. Just like there was another report where Watertown, Connecticut's got about a little over 22,000 people. Again, it's a pretty small town, 22,000 people. And they just acquired a free MRAP. Why would they need a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle in Watertown, Connecticut? What the heck could possibly be going down in Watertown, Connecticut that they need one of these things? But they got it for free. And you know how much these daggum things cost? The sticker price on these things is over $700. It's almost $750,000 for one of these MRAPs, and they didn't have to pay for it because it's military surplus, and that's the way it works. I mean, I don't know how many IEDs, roadside bombs, or mines that they have in Watertown, Connecticut. Maybe there's something I missed in the news or something. But why in heaven's name would you need a mine-resistant vehicle in a rural town in Connecticut? Or at least a suburban town in Connecticut. Maybe it's not that rural, but it is certainly suburban. I understand the conventional wisdom that back in the 70s, the conventional wisdom is that the criminals started carrying semi-automatics and the police were using revolvers. Then the police went to semi-automatics, and the criminals and the drug dealers went to rifles. And then police went to shotguns, and they went to automatic weapons. I get that. I understand the conventional wisdom. But this well-trained, seasoned police officer in Garland, Texas, has proven again, I don't know if again or not, but he's proven that one man with a .45 caliber pistol, or a .40, that's what I carry, can take down a couple of dopes with AKs, or M4s, or ARs, or whatever you want to say, M16s, it doesn't matter, because he is well-trained, and most likely they are not. So a well-trained, seasoned police officer with good weapons training can use a pistol a lot more efficiently than he can use a rifle. It's that simple. And again, the militarization of police force scares me. It just does. Maybe I'm all wet on this thing, but this is not what the cops are for. They are to serve and protect. They're not a military force. They're not supposed to be a military force. They're not supposed to be Obama's civilian military force that he has envisioned since 2008 or before, whenever that was. They're the cops, and that's what they should be. They're the boys in blue, and that's what they should be dressed as, the boys in blue. They don't need to be camoed up, and 9 times out of 10, they don't need to be armored up either. Frankly, that's what the National Guard is for. They are a military force, and every state has them, and they can be deployed rather easily and rather rapidly if need be. That's what they're for. The cops don't need to become the new National Guard. I guess that's about all I got. Maybe like I said, maybe I'm all wet on this thing, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And I will be right back.
You're listening to the Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
All right, I am back. And raise your hand if you think Paul Krugman is a jerkwad. I think everybody raised their hands. This guy is, I think it was Andrew Stiles at Washington Free Beacon wrote an article entitled Paul Krugman is a self-righteous moron, and that's exactly what he is. Krugman is he's a liberal. He is the liberal. He is what all other liberals aspire to be. He's a complete jerk. He's arrogant as the day is long. He thinks he's never been wrong about anything, which is the exact opposite. He's wrong about virtually everything he opens his mouth on. Yet he is hailed by the left as some sort of freaking genius. But then again, hey, when you got Obama, you got the Clintons, you got Pocahontas up there in Massachusetts, the biggest bunch of blithering idiots you'd ever want to see. And Krugman's king of the idiots, but he thinks he is a genius. And he arrogantly wrote an article, it was last week, I guess, in the New York Times, of course. He's a writer for the Times. Only place it'll have him, I suppose. But he wrote a gotcha piece, a neener piece, on the pitfalls that were predicted about Obamacare, and that none of them, neener, have come true. Obamacare has been a blessing from the gods, apparently, from Gaia, and Krugman is here to explain why, apparently. Krugman writes in the New York Times, as far as I can tell, no important Republican figure has admitted that none of the terrible consequences that were supposed to follow health reform, mass cancellation of existing policies, soaring premiums, job destruction, has actually happened. Well, Paul, actually all of them have happened. Mass cancellations happened. Remember, you can, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Well, you couldn't keep your plan. Lots of people got canceled, and they had to sign on to these absurdly expensive plans. Soaring premiums. Everybody's premium has gone up or is going to be going up. As a matter of fact, Oregon plans premium hikes across the board. All but one insurance carrier in Oregon wants to impose premium hikes, and a lot of them are double-digit hikes. Who is going to be able to afford these premiums? But again, you're locked in. You can't. There's nothing you can do. We're going to end up with debtors' prisons or something because people can't afford to pay for Obamacare, and then they won't be able to afford the penalty if you can't pay for Obamacare. So it's a catch-22, unfortunately. And this is a biggie also. It was supposed to, back in 2010, I guess Obama gave a speech that the subsidized policies for Obamacare were supposed to take care of the ER problem, the crowded ER problem. It was supposed to alleviate all the patients going to the ER now that they could get preventative care and all this other nonsensical crap that they can't get, but they were promised. And that was how they were going to, another way they were going to hold costs down. And he said that you can't get those savings if those people are still going to the emergency room. Well, I hate to say it, Paul and Obama, that 3/4 of emergency room physicians polled have seen ER visits actually increase since Obamacare took effect. As a matter of fact, the Wall Street Journal did a poll of 3,000 ER doctors, and the journal actually quotes one ER doctor in Lexington, Kentucky, as saying that emergency room visits rose 10% last year, and that was the first year of Obamacare coverage under the expanded law, and has gone up 20% already just in the first few months this year. So it's ballooning out of control. And to top it off, about 90% of those 3,000 physicians polled said that the severity of the illness has actually gotten worse, has gone up too. Not just, they're not coming in with stubbed toes and lacerations, slight lacerations. These people are coming in with some major league problems into the emergency rooms. Now, why is this, I wonder? Well, it's just a matter of economics, frankly. It's the free market trying to deal with Obamacare, and not very well, unfortunately. But just because someone has Obamacare isn't health care. Health insurance isn't health care. It's insurance. Obamacare, in the case of subsidized Obamacare, is subsidized insurance. It's not health care. It's not medical care of any kind. It's just insurance. And a lot of these subsidized Obamacare patients are signing up for Medicaid under Obamacare. And Medicaid has, over the years, been getting stingier and stingier with the payouts, and they're even worse now that Obamacare has taken effect. And the doctors that are supposed to be on the Obamacare, in these exchanges and stuff, aren't taking these subsidized patients because Medicaid doesn't pay enough to keep the lights on, much less do anything else. So they're refusing to see these Medicaid patients. So consequently, because of Obamacare and Medicaid being so stingy now, doctors are turning these people away, and now they have to show up at the emergency room, and so now the emergency rooms are flooded even more than they were before Obamacare. But let's just say, just for the sake of argument, that Krugman's right about all his claims about, see, nothing's happened, see, the sky isn't falling, you bunch of Republican chicken littles, and everything's grand. Obamacare has been enacted. It's been in a law since I guess it's 2 years now. That's about it, really. So it's in its infancy, just barely in its infancy. And Krugman is making these wild claims that, see, nothing's happened. Well, let's do this with something else then. Let's extrapolate this out to include, let's say, global warming, climate change. What have they always said? What do the warmists, what do the climate people always say, the advocates always say about when we claim correctly that there's been no global warming, there's been no warming for 17 or 18 years now? What do they say? Well, that's not a big enough sample size. You have to take more of history. You have to take more of climate history into effect in order to get a correct or large enough sample to make a determination of global warming. Well, if 17 or 18 years of global warming isn't, or not global warming, isn't a sufficient sample, then but 2 years of not even 2 years of Obamacare is a sufficient sample to make the claims that this dope Krugman's making. It doesn't add up. But then again, if you're a liberal, you don't need to make any sense. It's all feel-good nonsense and bullcrap, and that's all it has to be. You make the claim, and you move on. Krugman, he's the drive-by genius. He just comes out, he writes these articles, he makes these ridiculous claims, and then he moves on to the next topic. And everybody's left saying, with their mouths agape, can't believe what he said, but it doesn't matter because he's on to the next subject, and nobody in the media is going to question Paul Krugman. Are you kidding me? The guy's a saint to the liberal media. So Andrew Stiles at the Free Beacon is in fact correct. Paul Krugman is a self-righteous moron. There you go.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
All right, I wanted to end this podcast with something fun or funny or absurd or whatever, but I got a laugh out of this. I hope you will too. There was a guy, Michael Kevin Meadows, 43-year-old man from Shady Spring, West Virginia. He went into the Bypass Pharmacy in Beaver, West Virginia, last Tuesday. He was wearing full camo gear. Geez, I wonder if he was a cop. No, he wasn't a cop. He was a dirtbag. A boonie hat, and a paintball mask. And he had in every intention of robbing the pharmacy. Of what, we don't know. Well, it turns out that the robbery was foiled. He did get away. He got into a 2005 GMC Denali driven by another guy and got away. But they caught the driver. Cops caught the driver. I don't know whether he was in camo gear or not, but or a boonie hat. But at any rate, they got the driver, and between the surveillance footage, the security footage, and the driver, they were able to ID Mr. Meadows, the genius. And he was charged with attempted second-degree robbery, and he's being held at the Southern Regional Jail in West Virginia on a $100,000 bond. The driver was not arrested, and it doesn't say why he wasn't arrested. I'm going to guess that it wasn't a big deal, that maybe he was coerced into doing it. He cooperated with police, so they just let him go. I don't know. Maybe he turned himself in. Doesn't say. Don't know. All right, so here's the kicker. The dude, Mr. Meadows, the genius. Maybe he went to the Paul Krugman School of Robbery or something. I don't know. At any rate, so Mr. Meadows walked into this pharmacy and proceeded to start pepper spraying everything in sight. I mean, there was such a fog of pepper spray, apparently you couldn't see. And he started pepper spraying all the employees to subdue them so he could better rob the place and not have anybody interfere with the robbery. And, and apparently, and the security footage caught this apparently, this dope put so much pepper spray into the air that he ended up pepper spraying in front of him, and then he proceeded to walk into the fog of pepper spray, incapacitating himself. What an idiot! And ended up choking and staggering out the door into the Denali and got away temporarily. It's just criminals, man. Find something else to do. Go on welfare like the rest of them. Something. I don't know. Get a job. Do something other than criminals, because you're no good at it. I just thought it funny. I just thought it was a good way to end. I just could picture this of the people on their backs watching this criminal walk into this fog of pepper spray, gagging himself and trying to drag his carcass out the door, stumbling and bumbling out the door, and only to get caught very shortly after. And I just thought that was hilarious. What an idiot. All right, that's all I got for today. I hope everybody has a great balance of the weekend. It's finally looking like summerish out there. All the leaves are in bloom. The pollen count's about 117%. It's awesome. If you suffer from that, it's not. But at any rate, I wish everybody to have a nice day. I certainly intend to. And I'll see you next time.